Ethan Cross crouched behind a pile of scorched metal. Smoke twisted over the broken city, and the sky burned with the reflection of distant fires. Alien patrols moved in tight formations across the street, their weapons glowing with strange energy. Every step they took rattled the ground, and Ethan's heart pounded. He checked his team, faces tight with fear, but ready. They had no choice but to move. He pointed toward a ruined building. The supply convoy was just beyond it. They needed it to survive the next week. Ethan led the charge, motioning silently. They darted from cover to cover. Lasers flared, hitting walls and burning the air. A young soldier screamed as a bolt grazed his arm. Ethan grabbed him, dragging him behind cover. Blood ran hot and sticky. The boy looked at him with wide eyes, shaking. Ethan gritted his teeth and kept moving. A low rumble shook the ground. The aliens froze. Ethan's gaze went to the street ahead. Something huge moved beneath the rubble. The air vibrated with its presence. Dust and debris lifted as the creature rose. Its skin glimmered with armor-like scales. It had eyes that burned like molten metal. The patrol units screamed and scattered. Lasers fired wildly, but the beast was faster, stronger. Its claws tore through vehicles as if they were paper. The human team ducked instinctively, watching in horror. Ethan felt his chest tighten. This was not a normal alien weapon. This was something engineered for fear. Every instinct told him to run, but he did not. He moved forward, scanning for weak points. The beast sniffed the air and paused. Its gaze found him. Ethan froze. The rumble grew louder, like the world itself was shaking. Then the beast did something no one expected. It sank to the ground, curling beside him. Smoke and dust swirled around them, but it made no move to attack. The team stared, uncertain. Some gripped their weapons tighter. Ethan lowered his rifle slowly. He felt the heat of its body, the power in its muscles. It was calm now, almost obedient. He reached out cautiously, feeling the rough scales. It shivered, but stayed. Ethan's mind raced. Why? Why did it stop? A laser shot rang out. One of the team fired at a patrol unit and the beast growled. Ethan shouted, moving between them. The team froze, unsure whether to retreat or trust the creature. Ethan knew they could not afford hesitation. He waved for them to move with him toward the convoy. The beast rose slightly, sniffed, and then followed, keeping pace beside him. Its steps were deliberate, careful, like it knew who led. The streets were littered with fire and wreckage. Alien drones whirred overhead, scanning for movement. Every shadow could hide death. Ethan ducked behind a burnt-out vehicle, listening. He felt the weight of the beast's presence, a strange comfort in the middle of chaos. But he sensed that whatever this was, it had chosen him. Suddenly, a distant building collapsed. Dust filled the air and Ethan stumbled. He felt the heat and vibration from the explosion. The beast growled, a deep sound that shook the ground. Its eyes glowed brighter, scanning the area. Ethan knew this was only the beginning. The aliens would not leave it alone, and neither would the humans who did not understand what they faced. Ethan looked down at the beast. It lay its massive head on his knee, almost like a gesture of trust. He felt a mix of fear, awe, and something else he could not name. They had survived this encounter, but the world around them was collapsing. And somewhere in the smoke, more fear beasts waited, and they would not be as forgiving. Ethan clenched his fists. He could not run. He had to lead, and the beast had chosen to follow him. The war had changed, and neither man nor monster could turn back now. Ethan moved through the wreckage, Razor beside him. The young soldier from before kept glancing at the beast, awe and fear in his eyes. Ethan kept his eyes forward. They had to reach the convoy before the aliens regrouped. Every step was tense. Every shadow could hide another patrol. They reached the convoy. Crates of weapons, food, and fuel were strewn across the road. Ethan ordered the team to load what they could carry. Razor watched, muscles tense, ears flicking at every sound. When an alien drone whirred overhead, the beast rose, letting out a low growl that made the metal around them tremble. Ethan directed the team. They moved fast, precise. Lasers cut through the smoke behind them. Razor leapt over burning vehicles, its claws tearing metal as it cleared the path. Soldiers fell in line, keeping pace with Ethan's commands. They had only minutes before the aliens fully realized the convoy was under attack. During a pause, Ethan crouched beside Razor. The beast's eyes scanned the horizon, calculating, almost human in thought. Ethan reached out and touched its rough scales. He spoke softly, telling it to stay close. Razor lowered its head, letting him guide it. There was no trust, not yet, only recognition. The team moved again. They hit an ambush, hidden aliens waiting in the ruins. Lasers fired from both sides, sparks flying as metal met energy bolts. A soldier went down, screaming. Ethan ducked and fired, counting the shots, adjusting quickly. Razor lunged into the center of the fight, tearing through drones and alien soldiers with precision. The humans followed, striking hard, pushing the enemy back. They reached a narrow alley, but a massive alien walker blocked the path. Its legs were thick, metal grinding against rubble. Ethan scanned the area. They had no heavy weapons. He turned to Razor. The beast sniffed the air, growled, and lunged. It grabbed the walker's leg with powerful jaws, tearing at wires and hydraulics. Sparks flew, metal bent, and the walker collapsed with a deafening crash. The team moved past, hearts racing. They made it to a small, hidden safe zone, crates secured. Ethan looked at his team. Exhaustion and fear were written on every face. He turned to Razor. The beast lay down, keeping one massive eye on him. Ethan felt a strange bond forming. It was not just a weapon. It understood danger, perhaps even trust. Night fell. Fires burned across the city, casting long shadows. Ethan and Razor walked the perimeter, listening. Alien patrols circled at a distance, drones scanning relentlessly. A quiet settled, but Ethan knew it would not last. He checked the supplies. Enough for a few days, but not enough for a war. The young soldier approached Ethan. He whispered a question about the beast's loyalty. Ethan did not answer. He only watched Razor, muscles coiled, ready. He knew they were not safe, not yet. The beast had chosen him, yes, but that choice could be tested. Suddenly, a high-pitched alarm blared from one of the crates. Ethan ran. The team followed. The crate had been tampered with. Inside, a strange tracking device blinked red. Someone had left it there intentionally. Ethan's stomach dropped. They had been watched, and their location betrayed. Razor growled, low and threatening. Ethan grabbed a rifle, scanning the darkness. From the shadows, a figure stepped forward. Human, but dressed in alien gear. Ethan recognized the face. Lieutenant Grayson. He smirked, raising a weapon. Ethan's heart sank. This was not just an attack. It was betrayal. Razor growled louder, stepping between Ethan and Grayson, ready to strike. Ethan's mind raced. He had to protect the team, the convoy, and now, the beast he barely understood. The war had turned inside their ranks, and in the darkness, with the fires burning, Ethan realized that survival would demand more than courage. It would demand trust that could not be given lightly. Ethan gritted his teeth as Grayson raised the weapon. Razor's massive body moved between them, muscles tensed. Sparks flew from the crate, casting harsh light across the human faces. Ethan could see the fear in his team, mixed with disbelief. Grayson smirked, his finger tightening on the trigger. Ethan did not hesitate. He yelled an order, and the team dove into action. Razor lunged, knocking Grayson sideways. The weapon skidded across the floor. Ethan grabbed his rifle and fired at the approaching alien patrols. Bullets ricocheted off walls, sparks flying. The team moved with precision, covering each other. Chaos tore through the safe zone as alarms blared and debris fell. Dust choked the air. Grayson rolled to his feet, pulling a hidden blade. He lunged at Ethan. The veteran soldier twisted, avoiding the strike, and struck back with the butt of his rifle. They clashed hard, metal against metal. Grayson was fast, but Ethan was experienced. Razor growled, circling, ready to attack. The young soldiers watched, frozen but learning. From above, drones whirred, scanning for movement. Ethan tossed a smoke grenade, and the haze covered their retreat. Razor moved like a shadow, muscles rippling, crushing drones and alien sensors with powerful blows. Ethan led the team through a narrow passage, checking corners, keeping close to the beast. Every turn was a risk. Every sound was deadly. They reached a corridor lined with alien machinery. Ethan's mind raced. They needed information, not just survival. He spotted data terminals. He moved quickly, pulling up maps of alien patrols, convoy routes, and weapons storage. Every second counted. Razor stayed beside him, ears twitching, sensing approaching danger. Grayson appeared again, this time with reinforcements. Ethan barked orders. The team set traps and barricades. Lasers cut through smoke as Grayson's group charged. Razor met them head-on, slashing with claws, knocking soldiers aside. Ethan fired, aiming for critical points. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and the corridor shook under the chaos. A sudden explosion blew a wall apart. Dust and fire poured in. Ethan shielded a soldier and slammed him behind cover. Razor roared, a sound that shook the metal around them and charged the flames. When the smoke cleared, the alien reinforcements were scattered. Grayson lay pinned, struggling to rise. Ethan stared down, knowing the choice to end him or not could change everything. Ethan lowered his rifle, but his eyes did not leave Grayson. Razor's breathing rumbled through the floor. The young soldier from before whispered, asking if Grayson could be trusted. Ethan shook his head. Loyalty had been broken. Survival was now the only law. They moved deeper into the alien complex. Metallic corridors stretched ahead, humming with power. Ethan scanned every corner, knowing the enemy could strike from any angle. Razor's presence reassured him. The beast was no longer a threat. It had chosen him. That choice gave Ethan courage, even in the heart of danger. Suddenly, an alert blared across the terminals. Ethan leaned in, eyes widening. Alien fleet movements were converging on their position. This was not a simple attack. It was a full-scale strike. The corridor trembled as distant engines roared. Dust and sparks fell from the ceiling. Ethan's mind raced. They had to warn the convoy, prepare defenses, and keep Razor safe. He turned to the team. Exhaustion and fear were written on every face, but determination burned in their eyes. Razor growled low, muscles coiling for another fight. Then a new sound reached Ethan, a deep, rhythmic pounding, like the ground itself was alive. Razor's ears flicked, body stiffening. Ethan felt it too. Something massive was moving closer, something that was not part of Grayson's betrayal or the alien patrols. Something older, stronger, and far more dangerous. Ethan tightened his grip on his rifle. Razor's growl echoed through the corridor. The team froze, waiting. The pounding grew louder. Ethan knew the real test was coming, one that would challenge not just their weapons, but their courage, strategy, and trust. The shadows ahead moved. Whatever it was coming for them. Ethan tightened his grip on the rifle as the pounding grew louder. The corridor vibrated beneath their feet. Razor growled, muscles tensing like coiled steel. The team pressed against the walls, weapons ready, eyes wide. Dust fell from the ceiling. Sparks from damaged circuits flashed across the floor. Every second stretched. A massive shadow appeared at the end of the corridor. Its shape was monstrous, taller than any building Ethan had seen. The sound of its steps shook the metal around them. Alien drones scattered, some destroyed by its sheer force. Ethan's breath caught. He had faced fear beasts before, But this was different. Older, stronger, smarter. It moved with precision, not mindless rage. Ethan shouted orders. The team fired, aiming for weak points in the creature's armor-like skin. Lasers bounced harmlessly. Razor lunged, claws striking the giant. The beast swatted the fear beast aside, sending it crashing into a wall. Ethan sprinted forward, pulling a grenade. He threw it at its feet. The explosion rocked the corridor, but the giant barely flinched. Razor struggled to its feet, shaking off the debris. Ethan patted its back, whispering, telling it to fight. The beast roared, lunging again with renewed fury. Ethan led the team in coordinated strikes using narrow passageways to avoid direct hits. Sparks flew, metal bent, and the corridor became a battlefield of smoke, fire, and screams. One of the young soldiers went down, pinned under rubble. Ethan rushed to him, lifting heavy metal beams. Razor assisted, its massive claws scraping debris aside. The soldier scrambled free, breathing hard, eyes wide with terror and relief. Ethan nodded, pushing him forward. Survival depended on speed and control. The giant beast's movements became more deliberate. It lashed out, crushing walls and machinery. Ethan realized brute force would not stop it. They needed strategy. He guided the team through twisting passages, forcing the beast into traps and dead ends. Razor followed every move, its instincts and Ethan's commands in perfect sync. The air was thick with smoke and the smell of burning circuits. They reached an observation deck overlooking the alien fleet below. Ethan scanned the holographic displays. The fleet was deploying more fear beasts, larger than the first, moving toward the human base. Panic tightened the team's chest. Every second counted. Ethan turned to Razor, who growled low, scanning the skies. He knew they could not hold forever. Then alarms blared. A massive alien energy cannon charged in the distance. Ethan shouted, signaling the team to spread out. Razor positioned itself at the front, muscles coiled. Ethan's heart pounded. They had to delay the fleet until reinforcements could arrive, or the human base would fall. The giant beast returned, smashing through a wall. Ethan fired, aiming for critical points he had spotted earlier. Razor met the creature head-on, using sheer strength and precision. The fight shook the observation deck, metal groaning and sparks flying. Ethan barked commands, coordinating strikes. Every second was life or death. Amid the chaos, one of the team members screamed. Ethan spun, seeing Grayson moving through the wreckage, weapon raised. Ethan's stomach sank. He could not focus on the new threat yet. Razor growled, charging Grayson, knocking him aside. Ethan fired at the approaching cannon, hitting a control panel. Sparks and smoke erupted. The cannon sputtered, delaying its fire, but not for long. Ethan looked at Razor, breathing hard. The beast was battered, but standing. Its eyes met his, a silent understanding passing between them. They had delayed disaster, but not stopped it. From the shattered walls, more shadows moved, larger than anything they had seen before. Ethan's heart sank. This fight was far from over, and the next wave would be deadlier. Ethan clenched his fists. He knew survival meant one thing now. Every second, every strike, every breath counted. And in the darkness, the pounding continued, louder than ever, signaling that something far worse than they imagined was coming for them. Ethan moved through the chaos, Razor at his side. The corridor shook as the massive beasts advanced. Sparks and debris fell around them. The team fired, but lasers bounced off armored skin. Every step was a risk. Every breath could be their last. Ethan spotted a weak point on the largest creature. He yelled for the team to flank it. Razor understood instantly, growling low. The beast lunged, swiping with deadly claws. Razor met it head-on, dodging and striking. Ethan fired, aiming carefully. Explosions rocked the walls. Metal twisted and groaned under the force. One soldier went down. Ethan dashed, lifting him from the rubble. The boy's face was pale, but he nodded at Ethan, signaling he could still fight. Ethan moved to the next position, covering his team. Razor followed, its massive body blocking attacks, tearing through smaller enemies with precision. The humans began to coordinate with the beast, trusting instincts and commands. Ethan's eyes scanned the battlefield. Alien command units appeared, trying to rally the fleet. He realized the war could end here. He pushed forward, taking calculated risks. Razor struck first, drawing the Alpha Beast into a trap. Ethan fired explosives at exposed machinery. Sparks and fire erupted, sending the massive creature stumbling. Grayson appeared again, firing from a hidden position. Ethan spotted him, shouting warnings. Razor leaped, intercepting Grayson, knocking him aside. Ethan ran, tackling the officer. Weapons clattered, faces tense. He pinned Grayson, breathing hard, muscles aching from exertion. The team moved past them, focusing on survival. The Alpha Beast roared, swinging with massive claws. Ethan rolled, firing a precise shot into a weak joint. Sparks flew. Razor attacked from the side, slashing with calculated force. The beast stumbled, staggering back. Ethan barked orders. The team hit hard, coordinated. The creature faltered, finally collapsing with a thunderous crash. Silence followed, broken only by distant alarms and burning circuits. Ethan dropped to his knees, chest heaving. Razor lowered its head beside him. The bond between man and beast was solid now, forged in the fires of battle. The team gathered, wounded but alive. Ethan looked around at the wreckage, at the lives lost and saved. Human courage and strategy had won, for now. The sky above the city burned with smoke and fire. Engines roared in the distance as the alien fleet retreated, damaged and disorganized. Ethan knew this was not the end. War had changed. Humans had shown strength, intelligence, and a will to survive unlike any the aliens expected. Then a signal flashed on a terminal. Ethan's stomach sank. Unknown coordinates appeared, far beyond the city. The message was simple but chilling. Reinforcement fleet detected. Larger ships, armed with unknown weapons, moving fast. Ethan clenched his fists. They had survived, but the war was far from over. Razor lifted its massive head, growling toward the signal. Ethan met its gaze, understanding passing between them. Trust, courage, and survival were now bound together. They had fought the impossible and won, but the future remained uncertain, dangerous, and full of trials they could not yet see. Ethan breathed deeply, standing. The team looked to him, waiting. He nodded, signaling them to move. They had to prepare, adapt, and survive. Behind them, the city lay in ruins. Ahead, the stars hid new threats. And somewhere, beyond the smoke and fire, the next battle was already beginning.